welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda and today I'm playing with my Counterfeit Kit Challenge and Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches Series 19. Today is day 27 and this is the sketch from Jennifer Cain, who is Scrapping Cain on YouTube and I believe on Instagram too. So I pulled out these 3 pictures of us posing while we were walking as we were camping at Peter Lougheed. This was a very smoky and rainy sort of camping trip that we went on, but we were out and about and we are pretty happy when we're camping. So I pulled out some of that. All this was in my kit. This stamped one that says Happy Life I made in my forgeries, and then the base paper that I have there is from Photoplay, and then the printables there are from Tracy Reed Designs, anywhere but here. And I am going to change up the color of my paper that I made by taking this, I'm going to take, this is Stormy Sky and Prize Ribbon, and I'm going to alter the gray because I wanted it a little bit more blue, and this was just a little gray for me for what I wanted to do. And I definitely wanted to use this month. So I did pretty good at using my forgeries. I need to use some of my wax seals between now and Thursday. But other than that, I've used all of them up now. So yay me. That always is an accomplishment when I use them up. So as you can see, I'm just taking my Stormy Sky and I'm just smudging it all over my paper to give it more of a mixed media feel, but with that blue. And then I decided it did need some of that prize ribbon. So I'm going to put a bit of that in some places. A lot of it you're not going to see, but there are some darker spots that do stand out when you look at the paper, when you start to look a little bit closer when you're looking at the background. And I'm going to, those were distress oxides, so if you add water to them, they do give a little bit that brings up. So I did do that. And then just take the water up. The Happy Life that I stamped with, it was a close to my heart stamp, was done in 49 and Market, and it does not react to the water, which is cool. And then I'm adding some of the spritz for distress, but big mess there, but nothing that a wet wipe won't fix ish, and not a big deal. So then I'm going to cut my photos down. I'm not going to make you watch me cut all my photos down, but I tried at 3/4 of an inch square to start with, but it doesn't stay like that. But there we go. I am going to take 2 centimeters off this side and this side so I can get it kind of matted the way that Jennifer has it, because she's got 2 papers there, it looks like, and then I didn't worry about the squiggly lines all the way around. And then I'm going to gut this. So it didn't cut very well when I took the branding strip off, so I'm just gonna fix that on the other side. And then I'm going to put it at 11 inches, and then I'm going to cut it at 1 on my guide for my, like that piece that goes down. I'm going to cut it at 1 through to 11, and then all the way around, putting it back at 11. And then that gives me a square that comes out, but also gives me still enough to glue that piece of paper down. But look at all that scrap. Yay, maybe I'll use that on Thursdays. Layout. I haven't done Thursday's layout yet. I'll have to get cracking on that one, but and tape, and we'll get this on. Just lining it up on my mat to try and help me get it on without having to use my T-square, even though my T-square is right there. That works just as well too. And then those are where the pictures are going to go. And mine are a little bit more to the right than I think Jennifer's are, but that's okay. And then I'm going to use this piece of paper from Tracy Reed And I'm cutting it at 3 3/3 of an inch square, which is the same size as my paper or my photos, which I wasn't really thinking about, but I knew 4 wasn't going to work very well because that's the whole length of it. So I'm like, I'll just cut these down. And then that one I didn't cut square. I don't know what I was doing. So I'm going to cut these to 3.5 now square. And then that 3 3/4 works a little better. They're not perfectly aligned either, so it works. I didn't want to cut them too small because I just did want to see that we are in the mountains with the forest behind us. So, and then I have these stickers. I don't know who they're from, but I think they might have been American Crafts, but they're older than old. But I'm going to get this tag on saying sending you sunshine. Oh, words are a problem. And the backpack, because we are hiking, kind of not a super long walk. It was smoky and rainy, but we still walk when it's smoky and rainy when we're camping, because A, our dog needs it, but B, so do we. So, and then this leaf is going to go there, and I think that's a pretty good embellishment cluster. Jennifer had that as journaling on hers, and then some stars sprinkled everywhere, but that's okay. And then just making sure these are the right size, because I cannot measure with a darn some days. This was one of those days. And then I'm going to get these on right away. And she has her mats skewed, so am I. And then I'm like, this is not the right size. I cut that too small. How did I cut that too small? That's okay. I have lots of these. So that one I'll put aside to use on a different layout for, I don't know, the kids, mine. I don't know if this is a kid's layout, if it will go in the families. Both of my kiddos have their own books. So they get their own layouts in theirs too. And then sometimes I just do 2 and one goes in the family, and then I just write on the back who's it supposed to be for. Sometimes I do 3. And there's no rhyme or reason to it, but I do this for me. So if I re-scrap pictures, I re-scrap pictures, whatever. Doesn't matter. Then I pulled out some navy blue rickrack to put in the tag hole, and I thought that would be nice with the blue that's on here. I don't have a lot of blue ribbon, so this works well. And then I'm going to put some liquid glue in where I tied it so that it stays, because this rickrack is not going to stay, otherwise it'll actually untie. And then I will glue the ends down too. And then there is these navy-ish stars. I think these are Studio Calico ones, and I'm just going to sprinkle those on my embellishment cluster and I guess my title, and here, there, and everywhere. So I'm going to put them in groups of 3. That one's going to come up here, and yay, another sticker sheet done. That's all on there. Woohoo! And then I decided I wanted just the tiniest bit of journaling, so I'm going to color a piece of cardstock, what's left on my blue brush. I'm going to practice my journaling for spelling, because, yeah, and then I don't know why I do it this way. Partly thinking about what I want to journal, and then I write something totally different usually anyway, but I'm just going to cut this into 2 strips, actually 3 strips, about 2 centimeters wide, because I don't know, I was using that line today. And then my journaling says, lots of rain and smoke while camping, Peter Lougheed Provincial Park. I will have lots of other pictures for this camping trip, so it didn't really need too much more. So and then just cutting those off a little bit. And then it wasn't standing out as well as I wanted it to. I didn't want it to be stark and white, but I'm just going to edge this with some prize ribbon. That gives it just the little bit of oomph it needs. And then that's going to go there. And glue my ends down, and that is a wrap on this layout. So there are some close-ups to follow. I really like this one. If you loved this as much as I do, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share some crafty love in the comments below. Blogs, playlists, and links are always shared in the description box as well. Until next time, make sure you stay inspired, scrappy, and full of ideas. There's some other videos and things here. Thank you so much for being here today, and have yourself a wonderful day.